And I think that's showing should be, let me check the chat before I forget. Okay. Okay, question I might have missed. Ralph is asking, I don't have a technical degree. Does that matter? Can one do the course and still be employed? I don't know if that's a question for me to answer, but again, I think a lot of success in life is really, revolves around your attitude and how many times you're willing to hear no. And again, perseverance is sometimes better than having a degree. So I'm not one, that gets into I don't have a master's or a PhD. I'm not into that. And I'm widely known pretty much all over the internet. So I'm okay with that. Could I get a master's? Could I get a doctorate? Sure. But I just don't feel it matters at this point in my life anyway. So again, it's all about attitude. If you're in your 20s, you want to do that, again, whatever you want, it's your call. So with the boot camp, it's meant to provide, insight around what you need to know around data science. Now, the boot camp gives you more information than what most of these degrees would provide you anyways. So, but I'm not really qualified to get too deep into that. I'm just giving you an opinion. I'll leave it up to the moderators to answer that or direct you to someone that could give you a better answer. Okay. All right. I think I answered all the questions that I see. So great. Is there anything else I missed? Well, if you have a master's, I don't, I have to say I'm pretty ignorant. I would think petroleum engineering is probably a technical degree. I'm guessing. It's probably not a liberal arts degree. So if you're technical, you're probably going to be just fine. But again, I'm going to leave that up to the advisors to sort of follow on that, I think. Okay, I hope that gave you a little bit of insight. Yeah, engineering. Okay, there you go. So again, I figured it was technical, but again, I don't want to make judgments on something. But again, if you have it in basket weaving, that's probably not a technical degree, right? So again, that's a discussion outside of what I like to talk about as far as qualifications for degrees. So I'm just telling you like it is in the real world, and I'll leave it up to you to find better advice in that area. All right, so let's talk about the salaries and the titles. Now, we already know that titles and salaries are going to be wide-ranging. So here were some of the salary ranges that I have basically looked for a couple days ago on Glassdoor. Google, Coursera, for example, had different reports, LinkedIn as well. Now, a data analyst is about $71,000, and if you go to LinkedIn, when you go to a job, it gives you that insight of what the salary is. But also LinkedIn and also Glassdoor does a really good job with their reports. So again, this is just a sort of average salary area. Now, if you're in New York or San Jose, those salaries are going to be higher. But again, the cost of living is higher, of course, in a lot of places as compared to a lot of places. So this is just sort of the average that I, was reported. So that's what I'm looking at. Okay, so a machine learning engineer is about 131,000. A data engineer is 115,000. A data scientist is about 120. A data analyst is about 71,000. Now, when it comes to basically obtaining, deeper training, proper training for what you want to learn, definitely understand that Quick Start has a lot of options, and of course, bootcamp options as well. I'll leave it up to the moderators to tell you more about that. So let's put this all together. When it comes to demand for data science, there is no question that it's a really in-demand area. We know already that some of the common requirements, Python. Python is number one. We have to learn Python pretty much in almost all roles around data science. Now, AWS and GCP are in demand. So if you want to get into cloud and data science, those are really good ways to learn more. So you can see, for example, just in Google Cloud, I went through 2 services, but there's probably 30 different services around data-based services that you could get into and actually do your work as a data scientist, a data analyst. And again, salary ranges were wide range, right? And then data science does require solid learning and high degrees. And again, the Fortune 100 companies are pretty strict. I couldn't find, like if you look at Accenture or Deloitte, they're all requiring master degrees at least. And they want published papers. So again, you may start out at a smaller company and then work your way up, of course. Okay, now as far as bootcamp learning tracks, there's of course a different programs as a data science and a data analytics program. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about this, and I'm going to turn it over to the moderator to fill in some of the blanks for that matter. Now, there's, of course, any bootcamp program, there's things we have to look for. And this actually provides some really good value because not only do I teach bootcamps for different companies and have in the past, I have courses on different areas, and I can tell you right now, there's 3 things we need. The first thing is can this get you job ready? And it will. And I'll go through how that does here shortly. Also, it's going to enable you to build a professional portfolio. So what does that mean? Well, to build that portfolio going to a bootcamp, you have to do projects that you publish on GitHub, for example. And you need to really build that portfolio. Career counseling is important, but also, again, those are probably the 3 most important. I would also say this is a really value added as well, right? So if you get a certificate of completion from a university, then that gets attention, right? So that's a great deal. And then, of course, payment options that, again, I'll leave it up to the Quick Start folks to talk about. Now, here's the curriculum for data science. As you see, it's a good amount of weeks, and there's a lot of different areas that you'll cover. Everything from Python, of course, to visualing data, to storytelling, to using cloud services with Azure, for example, and R. Again, R is, number 2, and will likely be number 1 sometime. It's just Python has just been around longer and just has a bigger following. But R does some things, especially around statistical analysis and analytics that Python just doesn't do as good. So again, a lot of potential here. So that's data science. And then the data analytics, you could see here, is again, just as detailed. I won't read everything to you, of course, but you could see that some of the themes are covered again, right? Python, data visualization. Also, too, they cover Excel, which actually is important, especially for your first job. Chances are, and there's plenty of good blog posts of folks that do data science or have started their first job. One of the first things you're going to learn is going to be Excel. How to use Excel to actually determine, for example, specific report requirements, visualization models, dashboards, etc. Python, right? Again, we keep on seeing that. So I hope that is clear